The crystalline ships of the Zaxxon Dominion materialized in Earth's orbit like shards of starlight, their translucent hulls refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. Supreme Commander Arxis watched the blue planet below through multifaceted eyes, mandibles clicking in what passed for amusement among his species. Another primitive world, another easy conquest for the glory of the Dominion. Analysis of their orbital infrastructure complete. Supreme Commander reported First Observer Kix, her carapace shifting colors to indicate focused attention. Their satellite network appears rudimentary, primarily communications and weather monitoring devices. No detected energy weapons or shield systems. Arxis' central eye ridge lifted slightly. Interesting. They've achieved spaceflight, but haven't developed basic planetary defenses. How convenient. He turned to face the bridge crew, their crystalline workstations pulsing with data streams. Begin standard infiltration protocol. Deploy the diplomatic vessels. Let's give them our usual song and dance about peaceful cultural exchange. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility unknown to all but a handful of Earth's population, Director Elena Santos watched the alien arrival with calculated intensity. The massive holographic display showed every detail of the Zaxxon fleet, their positions tracked by quantum sensors disguised as ordinary weather satellites. Their formation is textbook invasion positioning, noted Colonel James Chen, head of Earth Defense Tactical Operations, just like the simulations predicted. They're positioning their smaller ships to look non-threatening while their capital ships maintain perfect firing angles on major population centers. Elena nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic data streams. 20 years of watching and waiting. All those intercepted communications, all those subtle probes of their technology. They think they're being clever, following their standard conquest playbook. She turned to face the assembled command staff, representatives from every major nation on Earth. Is the Aegis system ready? All subsystems green, reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka, lead scientist of Project Aegis. The quantum shield grid can be activated at a moment's notice. Our new gravitic weapons are primed and masked. They won't detect a thing until it's too late. Above, the Zaxxon diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere with theatrical grace, its crystalline structure catching the sunlight in ways guaranteed to awe primitive species. Inside, Ambassador Zix reviewed the standard conquest protocols one final time. It was always the same. Arrive in peace, gain their trust, identify strategic weaknesses, then strike when they least expect it. The Dominion had perfected this approach across 100 worlds. The ship landed at the designated meeting point outside the United Nations headquarters in New York. Global media broadcast the historic moment as Earth's political leaders gathered to greet their first alien visitors. Ambassador Zix emerged with carefully choreographed dignity, flanked by guards whose ceremonial armor concealed advanced combat systems. People of Earth, Zix began, his translator converting his crystalline language into perfect English. We come in peace, seeking friendship and exchange between our great civilizations. His secondary eyes carefully scanned the crowds, noting defensive positions, military presence, potential threats. Everything seemed exactly as expected. A primitive species, awed by their arrival, completely unaware of their true intentions. In her underwater command center, Elena watched the broadcast with a tight smile. They're following the script perfectly. Launch the next phase of Operation Guardian. Let's make sure our visitors feel properly welcomed. Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed with power as Earth's real defensive capabilities stood ready. In deep space, cloaked sensors recorded every detail of the Zaxxon fleet's movements. And in laboratories and command centers, the products of 20 years of reverse-engineered alien technology waited for the signal to reveal humanity's true strength. The Zaxxons thought they were springing a trap on an unsuspecting primitive world. They had no idea they were the ones being trapped. Soon, they would learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. But for now, Earth would play along with their deception, matching their false diplomacy with false naivety, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables. 2 weeks into the Zaxxon cultural exchange, Supreme Commander Arxis began to grow impatient. His massive command ship, hidden behind Earth's moon, pulsed with restless energy that matched his mood. The reports from Ambassador Zix were frustratingly consistent. The humans were exactly as primitive as they appeared, their military capabilities laughably outdated, their leaders eager to share everything about their civilization. "It's almost too perfect," Arxis muttered, watching the holographic display of Earth's visible defenses. "Where's their suspicion? Their caution? Every species we've encountered has shown at least some resistance to our presence." First observer Kix's carapace rippled with uncertainty. "Perhaps they truly are this naive, Supreme Commander. Our initial assessment of their technological level appears accurate. They still use chemical rockets for space travel. Their most advanced weapons rely on projectiles and crude explosives." Arxis' mandibles clicked in irritation. "Run the deep scans again. I want every square meter of that planet analyzed. There must be something we're missing." But the Zaxxon's most sophisticated scanning technology detected exactly what Earth wanted them to see: a moderately advanced civilization, ripe for conquest. Their scans couldn't penetrate the quantum masking fields that hid humanity's true capabilities, couldn't detect the vast underground facilities where Earth's real fleet waited. In one such facility, beneath the Sahara Desert, Director Elena Santos led Ambassador Zix and his delegation on a carefully choreographed tour. The Zaxxons thought they were examining Earth's primitive attempt at a particle accelerator. They had no idea they were walking through a decoy facility, while kilometers below, the real installation housed weapons that could tear their ships apart at the quantum level. Most impressive, Zix lied smoothly, his crystalline form refracting the harsh laboratory lights. "Your species shows great potential. Under the Dominion's guidance, you could advance centuries within decades." His secondary eyes catalogued what he assumed were weaknesses in Earth's technology, noting points where their weapons could easily penetrate. Elena smiled diplomatically, playing her role perfectly. "We're honored by your interest in our humble achievements." Behind her pleasant expression, she monitored the quantum-encrypted feed from Colonel Chen's tactical team. The Zaxxon's fleet was moving into their final attack positions, exactly as predicted. "Director," Dr. Tanaka's voice whispered through her neural implant, completely undetectable to Zaxxon technology. "Operation Guardian is ready to proceed. All systems are primed." In orbit, the Zaxxon fleet began their final preparations. Weapon systems powered up under the guise of routine maintenance. Strike teams readied for planetary insertion. Everything proceeded according to the standard conquest protocol that had served them so well across the galaxy. Arxis stood on his command bridge, anticipating another easy victory. "Begin the synchronized power-up sequence. All ships maintain communication silence. We'll launch the first strike at dawn over their eastern continent." But in command centers hidden across Earth, humanity's defenders watched every move. The quantum shield grid hummed silently, ready to activate in milliseconds. Advanced AI systems tracked each Zaxxon ship, calculating optimal counter-strike patterns. And deep beneath the oceans, Earth's true fleet waited. Ships built with technology that would shock the Zaxxons, weapons they couldn't begin to comprehend. Elena excused herself from the tour, citing diplomatic duties. As she walked away from the alien delegation, her neural implant connected her to the global defense network. "Status report," she vocalized. "All systems go," Colonel Chen responded. "The Zaxxons are proceeding exactly as the predictive models indicated. Their attack formation is almost complete. And our countermeasures? Ready and waiting. The moment they power up their weapons, they'll trigger our automated defense protocols. They think they're springing a trap. They have no idea they're walking into ours." Elena allowed herself a small smile as she monitored the feeds showing Zaxxon ships moving into position. Everything they'd planned for 2 decades was about to unfold. The Dominion was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their ability to plan, to prepare, to anticipate their enemies' every move. As night fell over Earth, both sides prepared for what they thought would be their moment of triumph. But only one had truly anticipated every possibility, had planned for every contingency. Dawn would reveal which civilization had truly mastered the art of deception, and the Zaxxons were about to discover that appearances could be very, very deceiving. Dawn broke over the Pacific as the Zaxxon fleet initiated their attack sequence. Supreme Commander Arxis stood proudly on his bridge, watching as weapon systems powered up across his entire armada. Their crystalline ships began to pulse with deadly energy, preparing to rain destruction upon the unsuspecting planet below. All ships report ready, Supreme Commander. First Observer Kix announced, her carapace glowing with anticipation. The humans remain unaware. Their primitive detection systems show no sign of noting our power surge. Excellent. Arxis' mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Begin the first wave. Target their military installations and governmental centers. Show them the price of rejecting Dominion protection. The first salvos of crystalline energy lanced down from orbit, a devastating light show meant to shatter Earth's defenses in seconds. But the moment the beams reached the upper atmosphere, something impossible happened. The attack struck an invisible barrier, dispersing in spectacular fractals of light that illuminated a planetary shield no Zaxxon scan had detected. Impossible, Arxis roared, his crystalline form vibrating with shock. Where did that come from? Full scan of the defensive barrier. Before his crew could respond, new energy signatures blazed to life across Earth's surface. Hidden installations emerged from mountains, deserts, and oceans, revealing weapons of terrifying sophistication. The primitive satellites the Zaxxons had dismissed transformed, shedding their simple disguises to reveal advanced combat platforms. In her command center, Director Elena Santos watched the Zaxxon fleet's reaction with cold satisfaction. Initiate Operation Guardian Phase 2, she ordered. Show them exactly what humanity is capable of. Quantum encrypted signals raced through Earth's defense network. Colonel Chen's tactical teams sprang into action, coordinating a response that had been rehearsed countless times. All weapons free, he commanded. Execute synchronized strike pattern Alpha. From hidden silos across the planet, gravitic missiles launched skyward, their drives bending space-time itself to accelerate them past any possible defense. The Zaxxon ship's crystal armor, virtually impenetrable to conventional weapons, offered little protection against weapons specifically designed to exploit their structural weaknesses. Multiple impacts. Kix screamed as the first wave struck. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. Their weapons, they're using technology that shouldn't be possible at their development level. Arxis watched in horror as 3 of his heavy cruisers shattered, their crystalline structures breaking apart in ways his tactical systems couldn't even analyze. Launch fighters returned fire on their weapon emplacements. But Earth's defenders had anticipated every response. As Zaxxon fighters deployed, they found themselves engaged by swarms of autonomous combat drones that emerged from stealth fields. These weren't the crude machines the Zaxxons had observed during their surveillance. They were AI-driven hunters that could outmaneuver anything in the Dominion's arsenal. Supreme Commander, Kex's voice cracked with panic, new contacts emerging from Earth's oceans. They're launching ships, actual warships. Rising from the depths came humanity's true fleet. Vessels that combined reversed-engineered alien technology with human innovation surfaced worldwide, their quantum drives allowing them to transition instantly from sea to space. These ships represented the pinnacle of Earth's secret military program, incorporating technologies the Zaxxons had never imagined possible. Director Santos coordinated the assault through neural interfaces that linked Earth's commanders in ways no alien invasion force had encountered. Every human vessel and weapons platform acted in perfect synchronization, their attacks guided by AI systems that could process combat data faster than organic minds. Target their command and control nodes, she ordered. Don't let them regroup or coordinate their responses. The Zaxxon fleet's rigid tactical doctrine, so effective against truly primitive opponents, now worked against them. They had no protocols for dealing with an enemy that had systematically analyzed their weaknesses and prepared countermeasures for every strategy in their playbook. Ambassador Zix, still on Earth's surface, watched in disbelief as his people's mighty fleet was systematically dismantled. He turned to Elena, his crystalline form trembling with rage. "You deceived us. All this time." "We learned from the best, Ambassador," Elena replied calmly. "Your Dominion's standard conquest protocol was quite educational. We've spent 20 years preparing for this moment, studying every invasion you've ever conducted. The only difference is, we did it better." Above, Arx's flagship shuddered as another volley of Earth weapons struck home. "This is impossible," he muttered, watching his carefully planned invasion crumble. "They're not just fighting back, they're winning. How could we have been so wrong?" The answer, he was learning too late, was simple. Humanity had turned the Dominion's own arrogance against them. While the Zaxxons saw what they expected to see, a primitive civilization ripe for conquest, Earth had been quietly preparing to demonstrate that appearances could be fatally deceiving. Captain Maya Rodriguez guided her ship, the Terra Dawn, through the chaos of Earth's upper atmosphere, watching as the Zaxxon fleet struggled to maintain formation. Their once perfect crystal ships now bore the scars of humanity's devastating counterattack, their surfaces cracked and dulled by weapons they never saw coming. "Status report on the quantum mesh," she commanded, her neural interface connecting her directly to her crew's consciousness. The technology, reverse-engineered from 3 different alien species communication systems, allowed for instant, undetectable coordination across Earth's forces. "Mesh holding stable, Captain," her tactical officer responded through the neural link. "The Zaxxons still can't detect or interrupt our communications. Their attempts to coordinate their fleet are being blocked by our quantum interference fields." Above them, Supreme Commander Arx's flagship listed heavily to one side, its crystalline structure compromised by multiple direct hits. His bridge crew worked frantically to maintain control of their disintegrating fleet, but Earth's forces seemed to anticipate their every move. "How?" Arxis demanded, his whole form vibrating with fury. "How are they blocking every countermeasure, negating every tactic? It's as if they've been preparing for this exact battle for years." First Observer Kix, her carapace now cracked and dulled, looked up from her tactical display. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting new energy signatures. They're deploying something else." From hidden positions around Earth's orbit, humanity's next surprise revealed itself. Massive rings of energy began to form, creating a complex geometric pattern that enclosed the struggling Zaxxon fleet. Director Elena Santos watched from her command center as Operation Guardian entered its final phase. "Activate the quantum containment grid," she ordered. "Let's show them how well we understand their own technology." The energy rings pulsed with blinding light, generating a field that began to disrupt the very crystalline structure of the Zaxxon ships. It was the ultimate irony. Humanity had studied the fundamental properties of Zaxxon technology so thoroughly that they'd learned to turn it against itself. "Their ship's crystal matrices are destabilizing," Colonel Chen reported, his tactical display showing the cascading effects of the containment field. "The energy harmonics are forcing them to either power down or risk complete structural failure." Aboard the Terra Dawn, Captain Rodriguez coordinated with Earth's other vessel commanders through the quantum mesh. Their ships moved in perfect synchronization, herding the increasingly desperate Zaxxon fleet into carefully planned killing zones. "They're trying to open a hyperspace window," her sensor officer announced. "Standard Dominion escape protocol." Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "Initiate gravity wave pulses. Let's see how they like another surprise." As the Zaxxons attempted to flee, they discovered yet another level of humanity's preparation. The space around their ships distorted as focused gravity waves disrupted their hyperspace calculations, trapping them in normal space where Earth's weapons could continue to tear them apart. In his failing flagship, Arxis watched with growing horror as more of his ships succumbed to the humans' relentless assault. Their crystal hulls, once thought nearly indestructible, shattered under precisely calculated energy frequencies. Their advanced weapons, capable of devastating entire continents, were rendered useless by shields that seemed to adapt to every attack. "My lord," Kex's voice trembled, "we're receiving surrender signals from multiple ships. The humans, they're broadcasting terms." Alina's voice echoed through every Zaxxon communication system, transmitted on frequencies they thought impossible for Earth to access. "To all Zaxxon forces, your invasion has failed. Your technology has been compromised. Your tactical doctrine has been decoded and countered. You have two choices: surrender and face justice for your attempted conquest, or continue fighting and be destroyed." To demonstrate their point, Earth's forces launched another coordinated strike. Quantum torpedoes phased through crystal hulls as if they weren't there. Gravitic beams twisted space itself around Zaxxon ships, crushing their structures like paper. AI-controlled drone swarms exploited every weakness in their defensive formations. "Impossible," Arxis whispered, watching his mighty fleet reduced to fragments. "We are the Dominion. We have conquered 100 worlds. We cannot be defeated by primitives." Alina's voice carried an edge of satisfaction. "Your greatest weakness was your arrogance, Commander. While you saw what you expected to see, a primitive world ripe for conquest, we studied everything about you. Your technology, your tactics, your psychology. We turned your own methods against you, and you never suspected a thing until it was too late." Captain Rodriguez watched as more Zaxxon ships began powering down, their crews choosing surrender over annihilation. The Pterodon's sensors showed the full extent of humanity's victory. The once mighty invasion fleet now reduced to scattered, broken vessels trapped in Earth's containment grid. "Send the signal to all Earth forces," she commanded. "Operation Guardian is entering its final phase. Let's make sure our visitors understand exactly who they tried to conquer, and why that was the biggest mistake their empire has ever made." The dawn of a new era broke over Earth as the last Zaxxon ships powered down their systems, their once proud crystalline forms now dulled and fractured. Supreme Commander Arxis stood in Earth's orbital command station, his form diminished, watching through the viewport as human vessels secured his scattered fleet. "You understand now," Director Alina Santos said, standing beside the defeated commander, "why we let you think you had us fooled. Why we played along with your deception while preparing our response." Arxis' mandibles clicked softly, his earlier arrogance replaced by bitter understanding. "You knew about us long before we arrived. You intercepted our communications, studied our conquest patterns, prepared countermeasures for everything we might try." 20 years of preparation, Alina confirmed. "Every satellite you dismissed as primitive carried quantum sensors studying your technology. Every cultural exchange revealed more about your tactical doctrine. We turned your own methods of deception against you." In orbit, Captain Rodriguez coordinated the final phase of Operation Guardian from the Pterodon. Earth's ships, no longer hiding their true capabilities, moved with precise efficiency as they collected Zaxxon surrender signals and secured their vessels. "Final count," her tactical officer reported through the neural mesh. 87 Zaxxon ships captured intact, 32 destroyed, 14 surrendered after critical damage. No losses on our side, minimal damage to our defensive grid. The victory was more complete than even Earth's military planners had dared hope. Humanity had not just defeated an alien invasion. They had done so while revealing only a fraction of their true technological capabilities. The Zaxxons would never know just how many layers of deception they had encountered. In her command center, Alina connected to a secure quantum channel with Earth's Unified Defense Council. Representatives from every nation watched as she delivered her report. "The Zaxxon threat has been neutralized. More importantly, we've sent a clear message to any other spacefaring civilizations watching. Earth is not to be underestimated." Ambassador Zix, now a prisoner of war, was brought before the council via hologram. The Dominion will not forget this humiliation, he warned, though his crystalline form trembled slightly. Other fleets will come. Let them come, Elena replied calmly. Each attack will find us better prepared than the last. But perhaps your leaders would prefer to consider a different approach, one that doesn't end with more of your ships being turned to space debris. Colonel Chen's tactical display showed the full scope of Earth's victory. The quantum containment grid still held the remaining Zaxxon ships, their crews watching in disbelief as human technology. Technology that should have been centuries beyond Earth's capability, systematically dismantled their weapons and dry systems. We're detecting multiple hyperspace signatures at the edge of the solar system, Captain Rodriguez reported through the command network. More Zaxxon ships, but they're holding position. Looks like the Dominion received our message about their fleet's defeat. Elena turned back to Arxis. Your reinforcements are wise to keep their distance. Would you like to explain to them exactly what happened here? Or shall we demonstrate our capabilities again? The Supreme Commander's central eye ridge lowered in submission. I will tell them everything. How you deceived the deceivers. How you turned our own tactics against us. The Dominion must know, must understand what humanity is truly capable of. Good, Elena nodded. And make sure they understand this as well. Earth is now a player on the galactic stage. We've hidden our true capabilities for long enough. Any civilization that thinks to test us again will find that this was only a fraction of what we can do. As the sun set on humanity's first major interstellar victory, Captain Rodriguez stood on the Terra Dawn's bridge, watching Earth's real space fleet emerge from hiding. Massive ships that had been concealed beneath the oceans, inside hollow mountains, and behind quantum stealth fields now patrolled openly, a clear display of strength for any watching eyes. Send word to all commands. Elena's voice echoed through the quantum mesh. Operation Guardian is complete, but our work is just beginning. Today we defended Earth. Tomorrow, we take our place among the stars, not as conquerors like the Zaxxons, but as a force for justice and balance in the galaxy. The message spread across Earth's unified defense network, reaching every hidden facility and secret installation. Humanity had passed its first great test, revealing themselves as a power to be reckoned with. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would Earth. As night fell, the stars seemed to shine brighter over a planet that had proven itself far more than anyone had expected. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity had begun.